My wife's Vegas text destroyed me. She married my friend. She called me lame. I ended all contact with her. What I did after made her very sorry. I am a 32-year-old man. I work as a mechanical engineer. I make about $78,000 each year. I am not rich, but I have enough money. I own my home. I bought it when I was 27. I bought it before I met my ex-wife. I drive a Toyota Tacoma. I paid for it all. I am good with money. My dad taught me to save money first, then spend money. I met Megan 3 years ago. She is 29 years old. We met at my friend Dave's barbecue. She worked at an insurance office. She helped customers. She made about $28,000 each year. But she was very pretty. She was too pretty for me. She had long dark hair. She always dressed nice. She wore perfect makeup. She looked great. I liked her right away. I now see I should have known she was bad from the start. On our first date, she forgot her purse. I had to pay for our dinner. It cost $95. We ate at a fancy steak place. She ordered the most costly steak on the menu. She also got an appetizer and dessert. When I told her about it later, she said, "A real man pays for his woman." She laughed a little. I should have run away. But I was 29. I was not thinking clearly. Dating her cost a lot of money. We always went to nice places to eat. She bought new clothes a lot. She wanted me to buy her flowers for no reason. She wanted me to pay for her gas when she came to see me. I spent about $300 to $400 each month just on dates. My friends joked that she controlled me. I thought I was just being a good boyfriend. We got married after dating for 20 months. The wedding cost me $19,500. She wanted a perfect wedding day. She kept adding more things. Every talk was about making things better. Flowers went from $800 to $1,200. The music went from basic to best. When I said we should spend less, she cried. She said I did not want her to be happy. She said it was her dream day. I paid for everything. I paid for her dress that cost $1,600. She wore it for only 4 hours. After we got married, Megan quit her job. She said driving to work cost too much. She said she wanted to be a good wife. She said we might start a family. That sounds nice, right? But she did not cook. We bought food from restaurants 4 or 5 nights each week. She did not clean. I came home to the same mess I left in the morning. She did not wash clothes. My work clothes piled up. I washed them myself on weekends. What did she do all day? She shopped online. She got her nails done for $60 every 2 weeks. She met her friends for lunch. They ate at costly places. She watched Netflix. Our costs each month went from $2,800 when I was alone to almost $4,200 when we were married. I paid for how she lived. I worked more than 50 hours each week. She got a new job about 10 months ago. She worked at a marketing company. The company was called Pinnacle Marketing. She made $35,000 each year. Her new boss was a man named Ryan. He is 36 years old. He drives a Mercedes car that he rents. He thinks he is very smart at business. She talked about him all the time. She said, "Ryan says the market is changing." She said, "Ryan thinks I have real potential." She said, "Ryan asked the whole team to a networking event." I thought she just liked him as a boss. I was very wrong. For the past few months, she worked late at night. She went to team events almost every week. She bought new clothes. She started going to the gym a lot. She used to say exercise was awful. She got her hair cut in a new way. When I told her she looked good, she said she was making herself better. She said she was growing as a person. I thought my wife was becoming more sure of herself. I thought she was becoming more independent. It turns out she was just getting ready to leave me for someone else. So, last Tuesday, March 19th, Megan was supposed to be at a work event in Atlantic City. She talked about it for 3 weeks. She bought many new clothes. She got her hair colored. She even got a spray tan. She was very excited. She wanted to meet people in her field. She wanted to learn from leaders. I helped her pack her bags on Sunday night. She packed like she was going on a honeymoon. She packed fancy dresses. She packed new underwear. She packed her best jewelry. I joked that she packed too much for a work event. She said, "You never know who you'll meet." She winked at me. I should have known then. Tuesday night, I was in bed. It was about 2:45 a.m. My phone made a sound. It was a text from Megan. It had a photo with it. I thought she was telling me she got to her hotel safely. Or maybe she sent a picture from a restaurant. I was very wrong. The photo showed Megan and Ryan. They were standing outside a wedding place. It was called Chapel of Love in Atlantic City. They were holding up marriage papers. They were smiling like they won a prize. She wore a white dress. I bought it for her birthday last year. He wore a messy shirt. It looked like he slept in it. The text said, I just married Ryan. I have been sleeping with him for 6 months. You are a loser. You are boring. This was so easy. Enjoy being alone forever. I looked at the photo for about 30 minutes. My brain could not understand what I saw. 6 months. She cheated on me for 6 months. I thought about the past few months. Everything made sense now. Like puzzle pieces fitting together. All those late nights at work. All those work dinners. Now I understood why. She always kept her phone close. Like it had secrets. She started wearing makeup every day. Even when she just went to buy food. The new gym membership she was so happy about. All the new underwear I thought was for me. I felt sick. Like someone hit me in the stomach. Like my chest was on fire. 3 years of my life. Almost $25,000 on our wedding. Thousands more to support her when she did not work. And she cheated on me for 6 months. I worked extra hours to pay for how she lived. I sat there like I was in a dream. I just looked at my phone. Then I wrote back one word. Okay. Then I started to work. This is where Megan made a big mistake. She was very bad with money. She never paid attention to our money. She gave me bills to pay. She said, take care of this boring stuff. Everything with money was in my name. The house. The bank accounts. Both cars. Even her credit cards. They were just cards on my accounts. She did not want to deal with money. She called it boring. This was the biggest mistake she made. By 3:30 a.m., I had ended her money life. I canceled all her credit cards. She had 4 of them. I changed all passwords to every account she could use. I took her off all my accounts. I moved all money from our shared bank account. It was about $7,200. I put it in my personal savings account. I called Wilson's 24-hour locksmith. I took pictures of every money thing. I took pictures of every account. I took pictures of every paper. The locksmith was an old man named Bill. He came at 4:20 a.m. He drove an old truck. I told him what happened. He nodded. He said, "Third cheating wife this month, son. They don't think ahead, do they?" It cost me $180. But he put new locks on my doors by 5:45 a.m. I also changed the garage door code. I made her key not work anymore. While Bill worked, I looked at all our money papers. I found out Megan was doing more than I thought. She used our food money to buy gifts for Ryan. I found papers showing she bought expensive cologne. She bought dress shirts. She even bought a $400 watch. She used our house money card. She paid for her affair with my money for months. I went back to sleep at about 6 a.m. I slept better than I had in months. It is strange, but knowing the truth feels peaceful. Even when the truth hurts a lot. Around 8:45 a.m., I woke up. Someone was hitting my front door hard. It sounded like they wanted to break it. I looked through the small hole in my door. I saw 2 police officers. They looked very annoyed. They said, "Sir, we got calls about a fight at home. Your wife says you locked her out. She says you stole her things and money." I opened the door. I showed them the Atlantic City wedding photo on my phone. I said, "Officers, she is not my wife anymore. She married someone else about 6 hours ago." The older police officer was about 50 years old. His eyebrows went up so high, they almost went under his hat. The younger police officer tried not to smile. He tried to be professional. The older officer said, "She also says you hurt her with money. She says you stole things. She says you hurt her." I had all my papers ready in a folder. I said, "Officers, here is the paper that shows I bought this house in 2019. That was 2 years before we met. Here are the credit card papers. They show she was just a user on my accounts. Here are my bank papers. They show everything is in my name. I did not touch her things. I never hurt her." They asked to see the wedding text. They wanted to know if it was real. I sent it to them. The time showed 2:47 a.m. The photo was new. The older officer talked on his radio. He said, "Ma'am, this seems like a private matter. You need to use lawyers for this. We cannot make someone let you in their house if you married someone else." I could hear Megan screaming through their radio. She was screaming about abuse and theft. She wanted them to arrest me right away. The police asked if I planned to break her things. I told them I would pack everything safely. I said it would be ready for her to get. They left after telling me not to break things. They told me to be calm. As soon as they left, I started packing all of Megan's things. I put them in boxes and trash bags. It took me about 4 hours. But it felt good. Every nice dress I paid for. Every piece of jewelry I bought her. Every book. Every decoration. Every small thing. I put everything in containers in the garage. Around 1:30 p.m., Megan came with her whole group. Ryan was there. He looked like he would rather be anywhere else. Her mom Linda was there. She always thought I was not good enough for her daughter. Her sister Nicole was there. She was like Megan, but even worse. Ryan looked very unhappy. His expensive Mercedes was in my driveway. He wanted to show off, but he looked like he was sorry for his choices. He kept looking at his phone. He would not look at me. I could almost see him thinking about money. He was thinking about how much his new wife would cost him. Linda started yelling right away. She said, "You can't lock her out of her own home. This is against the law. We will call the police again." I said calmly, "Go ahead. They already came this morning. They said it's a private matter. Your daughter married someone else." Nicole screamed. She pointed her finger at me like a lawyer. She said, "This is money abuse. You can't just take away all her money. You left her with nothing." I said, "It was never her money." I took out my folder with papers. I said, "Every account, every credit card, everything I own is in my name. Do you want to see the papers?" Then I said something that made Ryan turn white. I said, "By the way, I will send your wedding photos to HR at Pinnacle Marketing tomorrow. I think they will want to know that their boss married someone who works for him." Ryan's face turned white. He said, "You wouldn't do that." I said, "Watch me." I had done my research. Pinnacle Marketing has a strict rule. Bosses cannot date people who work for them. It says so in their work rules. If a boss dates a worker, they can be fired right away. I read it on their website. Megan was crying hard. Her makeup ran down her face in black lines. She said, "You are ruining my life over a mistake." I said, 6 months of cheating is not a mistake, Megan. It's a choice you made." She said, "I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted." I said, "You seemed sure when you married him this morning." Ryan tried to talk. He said something about feelings being strong. He said we should talk like adults. I stopped him fast. I said, "You slept with my wife for 6 months. I paid her bills. We are past talking like adults." I had already packed all of Megan's things. I put them in boxes, garbage bags, and containers. It took me most of the morning. I was careful. Every piece of clothing, every bathroom item, every book, every decoration, every small thing she got in 3 years. I told them, "You have 2 hours to load everything and leave my property. After that, I will put it on the street for the trash truck." The best part of this whole mess was watching Megan try to pay for a U-Haul truck. She took out her wallet. She gave them her credit card. They said it was declined. She looked confused. She tried a second card. It was declined too. Then she tried a third card. Now she looked scared. It was declined too. Ryan had to pay the $127 fee. I could see him thinking fast. He was thinking about how much money this woman would cost him. His face went from annoyed to worried to scared in about 30 seconds. While they put boxes in the truck, Linda kept talking about lawyers and lawsuits. Nicole kept calling me bad names. Megan kept crying. She begged me to talk about this like calm people. But the best part was watching Ryan understand what he had done. This was not a fun love story anymore. This was his new money life. He had a wife with no money. She had no credit. She had nothing of her own. And she could not take care of herself. 2 days later, my lawyer called. He told me news that made my week great. I hired a man named James Wilson. He helps people with hard divorces. He is known for being tough with cheating spouses. James said, "Your wife says you made her marry Ryan in Atlantic City. She says you hurt her feelings." I could hear him trying not to laugh. He said, "She wants to end the marriage. She wants half your house. She says you were still married when she went to the conference." I asked, "Can she really do that?" He said, "She sent you proof that she cheated and married someone else. She has no chance. This will be the easiest case of my whole career." But James found out more that made things even better. It turns out Ryan does not have much money. His Mercedes makes it look like he does. But he spends all his money as soon as he gets paid. He owes $18,000 on his credit cards. His last girlfriend left him. She left because he could not pay for half of their dinner dates. Our friend Chris told me something. Ryan told his co-workers about his rich girlfriend. He said he would have a better life with her. He thought Megan had money. She always bought expensive things. She talked about investments and savings. He did not know she was just using my credit cards. She was making debt for me. My friend Mark works with computers. He helped me get text messages from Megan's old phone. She got a new iPhone last month. The phone store made a mistake. They left everything on the old phone. I could read it all. These messages went back almost 8 months. Reading them made me feel sick. Megan was not just cheating. She was making a plan to ruin my life. She did this while pretending to be a good wife. Here are some things they said. Megan said, "He is so stupid. Haha. He works extra hours to pay for my life. I am planning to leave him. This is so easy." Ryan said, "When will you leave him?" Megan said, "After I figure out how to get half his money. I have been moving money from our food money to my secret account. I almost have enough for us to start over." "Baby," Ryan said, "you are so smart. He does not know what is coming." Megan said, "The best part is he thinks I am becoming more independent. He thinks I am more confident. If only he knew I was just getting ready to leave him for a real man." I did not know about the secret account. It turns out Megan opened a savings account. It was in her name only. For almost a year, she had been stealing from our house money. Every week, she took out $200 to $300 in cash for food. But our food bills were only about $85 to $120. She put the rest of the money into her secret account. She stole over $8,000 from our house money. She used it to pay for her affair. She used it to plan her escape. I put pictures of those text messages on Facebook. I covered up the phone numbers. Megan's story about being a victim fell apart. But she did not stop. She did not say she was sorry. She tried to ruin what was left of her name. She started a big campaign on social media. She said I hurt her with money. She said I controlled her life. She said I messed with her mind. She said that made her look for love somewhere else. Her mom and sister shared her posts everywhere. They tagged our friends so everyone would see. Some people believed her at first, but then they saw the text messages. The messages proved she planned this for almost a year. She stole money to pay for it. Then Megan really went crazy. She did more and more crazy things. She told her dad to call my boss. She said I was bothering her. She said I was following her. She said I should be fired. She said I was dangerous to women. My boss Tom already knew the whole story. We live in a small town. News travels fast. He told her dad to go away. He said he would charge him with bothering me if he did not stop. She tried to break into my house at 3 a.m. on a Thursday. My new security cameras got it all on video. She was screaming about her grandmother's ring. She said I stole it from her. But she sold that ring 8 months ago. She bought a Coach purse with the money. I had the paper from the pawn shop to prove it. She called the police. She said I stole her cat. She said I killed her cat. She said I had the cat's body. We never had a cat. I am allergic to cats. If I am near them for 20 minutes, I get red bumps on my skin. When the animal people called me, I said I would take an allergy test. I sent them pictures of my allergy medicine. She started calling my mom at work. She cried. She said she made a terrible mistake. She said Ryan meant nothing. She said he was just using her for sex. My mom, bless her, told her, "You should have thought about that before you planned this for 8 months. Sweetie, what you do has results." She tried to go back to our church. We got married there. She said I was hurting her spirit. She said she needed safety from me. The pastor who helped us before our wedding asked her something. He asked how cheating and marrying someone else fit with her spiritual journey. She stopped going to church after that. But the most entitled thing she did came next. I got a phone call that made me question if this was real. Ryan's mom called me at work. This woman had a lot of nerve. She told me to be a man. She told me to do the right thing. She told me to take Megan back. She said Ryan could not handle being married right now. She said he made a mistake during a hard time. I asked, "Are you really asking me to take back a woman who cheated on me for 6 months? A woman who married your son? So he doesn't have to deal with what he did?" She said, "When you say it like that, you sound selfish. Marriage is about forgiving and staying together. And honestly, you probably did not make her happy. That's why she looked for love somewhere else." I hung up. I blocked her number right away. That same week, Megan sent me a letter. It was 7 pages long. She wrote it by hand. Her sister brought it to me. In the letter, she said the affair was my fault. She said I was not there for her emotionally. She said I did not appreciate what I had. She listed all the ways I was a bad husband. She said I worked too much. She said I worked extra hours to pay her bills. She said I did not plan enough romantic surprises. She said I did not have money for surprises. She said I did not fight for our relationship. She said this while she was sleeping with her boss. The letter ended with her telling me to pay for marriage counseling. She said we could work through this hard time together. I showed the letter to James, my lawyer. He laughed out loud. He said it was the most crazy thing he had seen in 20 years of divorce law. The divorce court day was on a Thursday morning. It was better than I ever dreamed. Megan came to court wearing a white dress. Not off-white. Not cream. Pure white. She came to divorce court. She was getting divorced because she cheated. She married another man. Even the person who writes down what happens in court looked twice when she walked in. Her lawyer was a young man named Kevin. He looked like he just became a lawyer 15 minutes ago. He kept moving papers around. He looked nervous. He asked for more time. Megan whispered fast in his ear. Judge Thompson called our case. He asked for opening statements. Kevin stood up. He said the most silly thing I have ever heard. He said, "Your Honor, my client was very upset emotionally. Her boss, Mr. Ryan Davidson, made her marry him in Atlantic City. She was not thinking clearly. He used his power over her at work to make her do this." Judge Thompson looked confused. He said, "Are you saying your client was forced to cheat for 6 months?" Kevin said, "Well, no, Your Honor. But the relationship made her mentally unstable. That led to bad choices." My lawyer, James, stood up. He had a big smile on his face. He said, "Your Honor, I have text messages. I have money records. I have social media posts. They go back 8 months. They show the defendant planned this affair step by step. They show she stole money from our home to pay for her plan to leave." He gave the judge a thick folder with proof. The judge looked at everything for about 10 minutes. The courtroom was completely quiet. I watched his face change. His face went from professional to disgusted to amazed. The judge said, "Mrs. Davidson, or are you using your old name? Did you text Mr. Davidson this?" I quote, "I can't wait to see the look on his stupid face when I take all his money." Megan turned bright red. She started to stammer. She said, "That was not what it meant, Your Honor." The judge said, "What meaning makes it okay to plan to ruin your husband financially?" She was quiet. The judge said, "And did you take money from your house accounts? You said it was for food, but you really put it in a secret savings account." She was quiet again. The judge said, "And did you buy gifts for your lover? You used your husband's money. He did not know." Megan started crying. She could not speak. Judge Thompson looked disgusted. He said, "I have seen bad behavior in my courtroom, but this much planning to lie is amazing." He said, "The divorce is granted right now." Megan got her personal things. She got her car. It was a 2020 Honda Civic. She still owed $11,000 on it. She got nothing else. But here's the best part. It made everything worth it. I paid for Megan's marketing class last year. It cost $2,200. I helped her with her career. The judge said she had to pay me money. She had to pay me for 6 months. Each month, she had to pay me $350. The look on her face when the judge said this was amazing. She looked so angry. She could not believe it. That look made up for all the sleepless nights I had because of this mess. Outside the courthouse, Linda started screaming. She said I was stealing from her baby. She said I was ruining an innocent woman's life. Nicole tried to throw her coffee at me. She missed. She hit a man walking by. He yelled at her. He said she attacked him. Ryan was not there. Linda and Ryan's mom were screaming at each other. Ryan's mom came to support their young love. Linda said Ryan called in sick to work. He was having second thoughts about everything. Megan completely lost it in the courthouse parking lot. She had a full mental breakdown. She screamed. She cried. She breathed too fast. She kept crying. This is not how it was supposed to go. You ruined everything. Her sister tried to make her feel better. She said, "It's okay, honey. You can stay with me until you figure things out." Megan looked at her with disgust. She said, "I can't live in your terrible apartment. It smells like cat litter and failure." Even Nicole looked hurt after that. 6 months later, Karma was working hard. Ryan got fired from Pinnacle Marketing. It was exactly 1 week after I sent HR the wedding photos. My complaint made them look into things. They found out he had bad relationships with many women at work. He did this for 2 years. Megan was not his first victim. She was just the dumbest one. He could not pay for his leased Mercedes. He had to give it back to the car place. The last I heard, he was driving a 2008 Honda Accord. He was living with his parents. He had a bad sales job. He made about half of what he used to make. Megan got fired from Pinnacle too. They said it was because she made work a bad place to be. But really, nobody wanted to work with her. She caused their popular boss to get fired. She used up her secret savings in about 6 weeks. She tried to keep living like before. She had to move back in with Linda and her stepdad. She slept in her old bedroom. It had unicorn wallpaper on the walls. She is 29 years old. Linda was angry. She had planned to make that room a craft room. Now she had to deal with her dramatic adult daughter. Her daughter had mental breakdowns every day. Megan could not find another job. Everyone knew about what happened. We live in a small town. Everyone knows everyone. Nobody wants to hire someone who sleeps with bosses. Nobody wants someone who causes drama at work. But here's where the story gets really good. This is why I saved the best for last. 3 weeks ago, I got a phone call. It made my whole year. I did not know the number. I almost did not answer. But something made me pick up. I said hello. Then I heard crying. It was uncontrollable crying. Through the tears, Megan said, "Please don't hang up. I know I don't deserve to talk to you. But I am desperate." I did not hang up. But I did not say anything. She said, "I made the biggest mistake of my whole life. The biggest mistake anyone has ever made. Ryan was using me. I was too stupid and selfish to see it. I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me. For some man who never cared about me." I still said nothing. She said, "I never stopped loving you. I know that sounds bad after what I did. But it's true. I was confused. I was scared. I made terrible choices. But my feelings for you were always real." I finally said, "Okay." She said, "We can work this out. We can go to counseling. We can start over. We can do whatever you want. I will sign a paper. I will get a job. I will pay you back every penny I took. I will do anything." I said, "No, please. You have to understand. I was having a mental breakdown. I was not thinking clearly. People make mistakes." I said, "Megan, you did not make a mistake. You made a plan for 8 months. You stole my money. You lied to my face every day." She said, "I know it looks bad." I said, "It doesn't look bad. It is bad. You are a bad person. You did bad things to someone who loved you." She cried harder. She said, "I have nothing. My parents hate having me there. I can't find a job. I have no money. They are taking my car next week. Nobody will talk to me." I said, "Sounds like results." She said, "What am I supposed to do?" I said, "Figure it out. You are a grown woman." She said, "You can't just leave me like this. I am falling apart." I said, "You left our marriage when you started sleeping with Ryan. Everything after that is your problem." I was about to hang up. Then she said what she thought was her best card. She said, "I'm pregnant." I was quiet for a long time. I said, "Congratulations. Is it Ryan's?" She said, I don't know. It could be yours." I said, "No, it couldn't be. We have not had sex in 4 months. You were on birth control our whole marriage. Try again." She cried more. She said, "Okay, it's probably Ryan's. But he won't call me back. His mom hung up on me when I tried to tell him." I said, "Still not my problem." She said, "How can you be so cold? We were married. We loved each other." I said, "You loved my bank account. I loved someone who was not real." I hung up. 2 days later, Linda called me. Linda is the woman who spent 3 years telling everyone I was not good enough for her daughter. She said, "You need to help Megan." She did not even say hello first. I said, "She's your daughter." Linda said, "She's your wife." I said, "She's Ryan's wife." Linda said, "That marriage doesn't count." She was not thinking clearly. I said, "Take that up with New Jersey. They seem to think it counts." Linda said, "She's family. You took vows." I said, "She broke those vows when she cheated many times for months." Linda said, "Everyone makes mistakes. You're supposed to forgive." I said, "Some mistakes cannot be forgiven." Linda said, "She's pregnant and scared. She has nowhere to go." I said, "She can go to Ryan. He's the father." Linda said, "Ryan won't talk to her. His family wants nothing to do with her." I said, "Sounds like a pattern." Linda said, "What kind of man leaves a woman carrying his child?" I said, "Ask Ryan. And get a DNA test." Linda said, "You're being cruel." I said, "I'm being realistic. Your daughter made her choices. Now she lives with them." Linda started screaming. She said I was heartless. She said I was selfish. She said she would tell everyone what kind of person I really was. I reminded her that everyone already knew what kind of person Megan was. I hung up. But the best part came last week. Ryan called me. Ryan had a lot of nerve. He said, "Hey man, I know things got weird between us. You slept with my wife, right?" I said, "About that." He said, "Look, Megan has been staying at my place. And honestly, she needs a lot of attention. She is very dramatic. My mom thinks maybe you should take her back." I said, "Your mom should mind her own business." He said, "She's threatening to sue me. She wants child support. She wants money for emotional damage. All kinds of crazy stuff. Can you just talk to her? Maybe calm her down." I said, "Not my problem, not my monkeys." He said, "Come on, man. Guy to guy? She's technically your wife. I said, she's your wife. You married her. He said, that was a huge mistake. I said, your mistake. Your results. He said, look, I can't afford a baby right now. I can barely pay my rent. You have a good job. You have a house. You are set. And you thought you could take all that by stealing my wife. I said, it wasn't like that. He said, it was exactly like that. Now you figure out how to pay for the life you wanted. He said, she's completely crazy. She expects me to take care of everything. She just sits around crying all day. I said, sounds familiar. He said, I can't do this, man. I'm not ready for this kind of responsibility. I said, you should have thought about that before you slept with a married woman. I hung up on him too. Yesterday, I got a Facebook message from Nicole. She said, my sister is having a mental breakdown. It's your fault. She can't eat. She can't sleep. She cries all the time. She says she might hurt herself. She made one mistake. You are ruining her whole life because of it. I replied, she made 184 mistakes. One for each day she cheated on me. If she says she might hurt herself, call a doctor. I am not responsible for what happens because of her choices. Then I blocked her too. Right now, I am in my house. I paid for it all. I make good money at a job I like. I am dating an amazing woman named Rachel. She thinks this story is funny. She thinks it teaches a lesson. She calls Megan a warning story. She brings me coffee. She writes "loyal wife" on the cup as a joke. Rachel is a nurse. She makes her own money. She pays her own bills. She has never asked me to pay for how she lives. We split costs fairly. She argues with me when I try to pay for too much. She believes in being independent and equal. Imagine that. Megan is 29 years old. She does not have a job. She lives in her old bedroom. It has unicorn wallpaper. She is pregnant. The baby's father will not talk to her. She is learning that what you do has results. Ryan is 36 years old. He lives with his parents. He has a bad job. He is learning that taking another man's wife costs money. He cannot afford it. Both of them have called me many times. They beg me to fix the problems they made. Both of them really think I should help them. Their lives fell apart after they ruined mine. The nerve is amazing. Sometimes bad people get what they deserve. Sometimes karma works like it should. The only thing I regret is not seeing the warning signs sooner. Like when Megan said her ex-boyfriend was controlling. She said he was abusive because he asked her to pay for her own dinner sometimes. He wanted her to help pay for house costs. I should have known then. I was dating someone who saw love as money, not as a partnership. But everything happens for a reason. I am truly glad this happened before we had kids. I am glad I did not waste more years of my life on someone who saw me as a bank account with benefits. Thanks for reading this long story. Time to live my best life now. Megan, I know you are probably reading this. You love social media. You have nothing else to do. Your mom called my mom last week. She asked if I would take you back. She said it was for the baby. My answer is still no. It will always be no. You made your choice when you decided to sleep with Ryan for 6 months. You spent my money. Now you live with that choice. You are alone in your old bedroom with unicorn wallpaper. And Ryan, if you are reading this too, thanks for taking the trash away from me. Enjoy paying child support with your sales job money. Enjoy living in your mom's basement. I hope she was worth ruining both our lives for. To everyone asking if this is real, every word is true. I have pictures. I have legal papers. I have security camera videos. I can prove all of it. To people who say I should forgive her because everyone makes mistakes, cheating for 6 months is not a mistake. Stealing money is not a mistake. Planning to ruin someone's life is not a mistake. It is who you are. There is a difference. To women sending me messages asking if I am single, I am very happy with someone. She knows what loyalty means. And to everyone who shared their own cheating stories, I am sorry you went through that. I hope this gives you hope. People who cheat do get what they deserve in the end. Justice is done. The case is closed. The story is over.